After finally finishing work, I was driving down the highway late at night when the familiar Bee Gees song, Love Is in the Sparkle, rang in my ears. Nakagawa died. Apparently it was suicide. I wasn't too surprised when I heard that. I thought it was just what Nakagawa had planned. I heard this story from a high school friend who happened to pass by me when I was 20 years old. My only contact with Nakagawa was in my second year of high school. At first, I had no interest in him. But after I had a broken heart and started to think back on my life, we started to interact like magnets. That said, we only met at school, and I never saw him outside. He was originally a different kind of person. Anyway, he was a ghost-like man. Every day, he worked a late-night part-time job at a cardboard factory and came to school only to sleep. But even so, he got decent marks on tests. However, he couldn't do his summer homework, so I did it for him. It was 5,000 yen per job. Whenever he had free time, he would hang out around Kawaramachi in Kyoto, picking up girls. Whenever I talked to him, we would always talk about what kind of girls he'd met. I may have been using him as a cover. To counter him, I made it up by saying that I was picking up girls in Umeda. Of course, I was a person who had nothing to do with such things. At that time, I was groping in the dark for a way to explode. With the energy of my rebellion against life and my rebellion against school. I think I was just standing next to the highway and singing at the top of my lungs. Why? Because I wanted to seal away the fact that I loved the girl I'd lost, and that I was so hurt and broken. To do that, I needed a friend like Nakagawa. Thanks to that, everyone at school started to think of me as a guy who just played around with girls. Nakagawa and I really connected on our school trip. Our school was going to Shikoku on a night ferry. The deck was full of couples, but I didn't like to hang out with the guys dancing in the cabin to the boombox. In other words, I had nowhere to go. Nakagawa was the same. I knew it without even a word. From that moment, Nakagawa and I became best friends for a while. From that day, Nakagawa started to talk about himself. That he didn't have a father. That he slept on the top bunk of a dark, narrow apartment. That the bottom bunk was his sister. That his mother only came home at night. That his relationships were complicated. And that he was using drugs. You'd be fine if you lived to be 20, Nakagawa told me. I think I'll live to be 30. I laughed, and Nakagawa laughed too. It was a cold smile. The strange relationship between me and Nakagawa ended with a single word from my homeroom teacher. Teachers are the kind of people who are proud of having excellent students in their classes and cannot keep quiet. In one class, my teacher said that I looked like I was playing around. But I was always at the top of my class in academic tests. From that moment on, Nakagawa started to avoid me. That reminds me of the last conversation we had. What was that Bee Gees song that was often played at discos? Nakagawa answered innocently, looking into space. Love is in the sparkle. At that moment, I thought that Nakagawa was over for me. It was just a feeling, though. In the third year of high school, Nakagawa and I were in different classes. Soon after, I heard rumors that Nakagawa had dropped out. That's all I know about Nakagawa. If I were to meet Nakagawa's ghost now, I would answer him like this. I haven't forgotten you. You were my precious friend.